take a look at that first box there, it has some rules in it. Some of them we have already discussed, and some of them we have not. And I know that they're written with log and some are written with ln, so you have the regular log and then you have the natural log. All of these rules apply no matter which type of log you're using. So if you look at number 1, okay, this is that exponent rule where we can take the exponent and we can actually bring it outside. Okay, so if there's an exponent with a log, you can bring it outside. If we take the log of base b, where base b is of 1, it's going to be 0 every single time. Okay, here, if you have the same base and the same number that you're taking the log of, so maybe it was like log base 2 of 2, that equals 1. So you can simplify that out and set it equal to 1. Number 4, the natural log of 1 is always going to be 0. Natural log e is going to be 1. That's the same thing here, okay? Because natural log, the base of a natural log is already e. So if you have natural log e of e, okay, that's the same base as your number. And then number 6, that's the exponent rule again. But when you would bring it out, you'd have ln, you'd have ln e right here. We already know that ln of e is 1. So that's why really this rule here is the same as here, but the ln e cancels out. Okay, so we will use those. You will get a little bit more natural working with them as we go. All right, let's take a look at number 1, or example 1. In this case, if we want to solve using logs, okay, we're not going to rewrite it into a log. Okay, before, yesterday, when you took your quiz, you rewrote things from logs to exponentials to solve them. What we have to do here is we have to log both sides. So what we do first step is we just take the log of both sides. Okay, which means you just put a log in front of what's already there. Okay, we assume base 10. So as soon as you put that log in there, you assume base 10. And then we can use our exponent rule. So that exponent of 2x, we can bring it out to the front. So we'll have 2x out front, and then our log of 5, bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then log of 21. The big part about bringing that exponent out is we can't solve for x when it's an exponent, but we can solve for it when it's not. So if we want to get x all by itself, okay, this is like having 2 times x times log 5. So if I just want to leave the x there, okay, I'm going to highlight it here. If I just want to leave that x, how can I get rid of the 2 in the log 5? How do we undo them being multiplied? We divide. Okay, so we're going to divide by 2 log 5. So our 2 will cancel, our log 5 will cancel, and we're left with x. Okay, and now we have our fraction. Okay, now the key here is your calculator. You're going to have a calculator to finish these up. Maybe. Okay, you have to put this one in. Be really, really careful when you put in a fraction. I'm going to show you how to go about doing that. I'll get my calculators out if anybody wants to come up and grab one. Okay, when we put this in, okay, make sure you're really careful about the denominator. The numerator should be fine if you just do log 21. You're going to notice that I'm have to put parentheses in. Okay, make sure you end that parenthesis for the 21. Then, when you hit divided by, you have to start your own parenthesis because this is like 2 times log 5. what would happen is if you didn't start a parenthesis, okay, and you went like this, your calculator is going to take log 21, then divide it by 2, and then multiply that answer by log 5. Okay, so you have to tell your calculator, I need parentheses here, because that whole denominator is what's getting divided. Okay, so your parentheses are really key when you're entering these in. You have to be really careful. Because I'll see a lot of times I'll see the correct work on these, but then when they are put in the calculator, something happened, and it's usually because of the parentheses. You should get 0.9458 roughly. Okay, anybody not getting that? Need help? Okay. I would say round to 4 decimal places. Okay, a lot of times you're going to get decimals on these because you're dealing with logs. Okay, questions for me? All right, let's tackle number 2. Okay, so number 2 is very similar, except for we have a number out front, like that 2 that's hanging out there, we have him there, and we have to get rid of that 2 to be able to solve. So we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. Okay, if you had something added or subtracted there as well, you would have to move that over. Okay, I'm going to stop really quick because some of you may be looking at this and saying, ooh, can't we just get like a power, like do basic 3 with power? Okay, this one would be kind of hard to do that. You could, but that's not solving with logs. So my point of teaching you how to solve with logs is teaching you how to solve with just a different method. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and log both sides. Okay, what can we do after that step? After we log, what can we do? Make it easier to solve. Yes, move that exponent out. Okay, that's one of our rules. Okay, if you have an exponent that has addition or subtraction, move it out, put it in parentheses. It'll get super gross and hairy if you don't, because you're probably going to miss one of the numbers. Okay, so go ahead and put that in parentheses. Okay, it's multiplied by log 3. Okay, now we're trying to solve for x. What do you think would be our next step? We're trying to get x by itself. What do you think would be our next step?
You could divide negative, it would be -5 log 3.
You're close. We can divide the log 3, but since the 5 is being subtracted from the x, we can't divide it yet. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of the log 3. I love that idea. Okay, when we do that, we're left with just the x minus 5. Now, how can I get rid of that 5, that minus 5? Add it. Yeah, we're going to add it. Okay, so the plus 5 just gets added on to the very end. So we put it in our calculator. We'll do the fraction first. Don't put plus 5 on the other. Okay, don't do it. It's going to add 5 to the denominator. So just be really, really careful. What I would do, put your fraction in, press enter, okay, and then press plus 5. Because your calculator will take that previous answer and it'll add 5 to it. So you should get 6.8. 0.6309. Anybody not get that same decimal? Okay. All right, number 3. All right, so this one's like what I was talking about. If you have something added or subtracted, go ahead and move that first. So we're gonna add 5 to both sides. Okay, so now we have e to our power equals 10. When we're dealing with e, what do you think is going to change about our process? It's going to be the natural log. We're going to ln both sides. So instead of log both sides, we're going to ln both sides. Okay, same process. I can bring my exponent outside. Okay, it has addition or subtraction in it. So you're going to put that x minus 1 in parentheses. Okay, look at your rules at the very top. Okay, there's a new rule that we can apply. See if you can find what it is. You haven't used it yet. Okay, it's going to happen on the left-hand side. Anybody locate what we can do with the natural log of e? It's just 1. Okay? So, if we have x minus 1 times 1, can I just get rid of the 1? Yes. Okay? So basically what happens is you can cancel out that natural log of e. When I say cancel out, I mean it's multiplying it by 1, but anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So we're just left with the x minus 1 equals our natural log of 10, and we can add the 1. Okay, now you have to be very, very careful when you put this in, because we could mess up the addition part here. Okay, so when you put it in, you'll do natural log. Natural log is right under common log, regular log. Okay, 10. Make sure you end that parenthesis before you put plus 1. If the plus 1 is on the inside of the parentheses, not the same thing. So it's going to be 3.30, we'll say 26. Okay, we have one more together, and then some practice on the back for you. Any questions before I move on? Is this coming back to you? Do you remember doing this stuff a little bit? Yeah. All right, so this next one has pretty much everything we've just done on the last 3 questions all in one. So first things first, what are we going to do? What do you think? What do we need to move first? The 3. We're going to add the 3 over. Okay, then what? What's the base on the left-hand side? E. Is there anything there that's not the base? Except for the exponent. The -6, right? So if there's anything besides that base, you got to clear them all out. So we're going to go ahead and divide by -6. You can leave it at 20 over 6. You can reduce the fraction. It doesn't really matter. I usually just leave them unless they're really ugly and I want to reduce them. Okay, now that we have base E all alone, we can natural log both sides. going to happen on that left-hand side? Hopefully you're thinking bring that exponent out. Okay, to make it quick, do I need to write natural log of e? No, right? That's just 1. So we can just leave the 8x plus 8. We have our natural log of 20 over 6. Or if you reduce it. Okay, now let's just get an x by itself. Yeah.
Isn't the 26 supposed to be negative?
I think we had 2 negatives. It was negative, yeah, so it should have canceled out. It's hard to see that negative 20, the negative of 23. Yeah, so it should have been originally negative. I always appreciate you guys checking them because it is early in the morning. All right, subtract 8 from both sides. Okay, super crucial. Make sure when you put this in a calculator, you know it's just the 20 over 6 inside. That minus 8 is outside those parentheses. And then we'll divide by 8. So what I usually do on these is I just put in the numerator. I don't worry about using all the extra parentheses. So I'll just put in my numerator, and then I'll hit divided by, and I'll do my denominator. So you should get negative 0.8495. So as you see, a lot of these are ugly numbers. Sometimes will be positive, sometimes will be negative. Okay, so don't count yourself out just because you get weird answers. That's very common with logs. Okay, any questions for me? Okay, if you flip it over, there are some practice problems on the back. Okay, I would say just do them until you get comfortable. I don't think that you need to do all 16. If you want to, you can. Okay, but just do them until you get comfortable with them. What do you guys think? Do you think you'll be ready tomorrow to apply this? To solve some of these? Like in a car situation, like if we wrote a car, or do you want an extra day of practice? What do you think? Say it again? An extra day? Do we agree with that extra day of practice? Okay? Okay. I'll give you a couple options. I'll put some Canvas practice on. I'll have a practice worksheet tomorrow. So we'll do that, and then Thursday, tomorrow, Wednesday. Okay. Thursday and Friday we will do our project. We'll see how long it takes us. I think you'll really be fine with 2 days on it. So, but we'll see how it goes. But I'll do more practice for you tomorrow then. If you want the answer key for the practice right there, I have it up here. You can come check those answers whenever you'd like.